Today, we're going to talk about 5 reasons I think you should be preparing for in 2024. And let me give you a little sneak peek. It has nothing to do with Israel and Palestine. When we start looking at preparedness and prepping, a lot of times we look at what is going on in the world around us. So right now we would think about Israel and Palestine, Russia and Ukraine, the upcoming political elections, all of the potential civil unrest that could happen. And we would think about those as reasons to start prepping. But as we look at 2024, I want to move away from the news and the doom and the gloom as reasons to prepare. Because the reality is most of us do start our prepping journey because of something that is going on in the world around us. Maybe for you, it was COVID. That was a huge transition for a lot of people who realized, oh my gosh, the shelves aren't always going to have everything I've wanted. And it was an eye-opening opportunity for us to realize, hey, maybe it's time to get a little bit more prepared. But fear as a motivation in and of itself will not sustain us on this preparedness journey. So today I want to talk about 5 other reasons that I think you should be prepping in 2024. The first one, it's all about your mental health and emotional resiliency. I think one of the things that COVID highlighted for people is that our mental health and our emotional resiliency are often tied to the things that are going on around us. And as those of us who are more preparedness-minded, who are into this prepping lifestyle, one of the things that provides for us is a little bit of stability and a little bit of continuity where we don't have to respond in the same way to outside factors because we are controlling what we can control. I know I've done everything I can do to prepare my family for the next emergency, whether that's a natural disaster, whether that is political upheaval, whether that is another shortage of stuff on the store shelves. I have taken action to get myself more prepared for anything that comes along, and so then I don't have to be as tied to what is going on in the world around me. The second reason that I think you should prep is probably honestly my favorite reason and why I have managed to stay in this preparedness journey for as long as I have, and that is all about personal growth and development. So here's the truth, guys. I am a lifelong learner. I love learning new things. I love diving into hobbies. I love watching YouTube videos and learning new skills, and that is something that is super encouraging to me. The beauty of prepping for me is there's always something else new to learn. And I think as we move forward in this preparedness journey, if we keep that growth mindset, if we keep that excitement about learning all of the things, it just keeps growing and we just keep getting better. And then that allows us to be energetic around the space versus kind of, again, in that fear space of really just responding to stuff. We are like, no, we're growing, we're learning, we're getting better. And I think that can be super motivational. And so I would really encourage you to focus on what are the 2 or 3 things over the next year that you want to learn that maybe you haven't learned how to do yet. And the third reason I think you should start prepping in 2024 is all about independence and flexibility and freedom. And I think those are things that really motivate a lot of people right now, just for a variety of reasons. And I think when you get into the prepping space, and it starts usually originally just, hey, how do I prepare for a localized emergency? How do I get so that I can live in my house for 72 hours without power? It's a great place to start. But what you will find as you develop these skills, and for those of you who are maybe a little bit further along in your journey, you might agree with this. So if you do, just drop a comment below because I'd love to hear your thoughts. But this idea of once we start in this preparedness space, we get more interested in being self-sufficient. And a lot of times that leads more to like the homesteading, the off-gridding, like how do you really not have to rely on anyone? And what I don't want to say is I think that we should all be off-grid homesteaders. I don't believe that at all. I think that being prepped in suburbia is probably the best thing I can advise for you. But what I would say is that as you learn, this idea of independence and freedom can really also be motivating. The fourth reason I think you should really prepare is all about community. I think as women, we crave community. And it took me a while to understand this. You might not believe this, but I am an uber introvert. I am the happiest when I am laying in bed under my cozy comforts reading a book. But what I would say is as I have gotten older, I have realized that there is beauty and there is encouragement and there is a level of comfort when we build community with like-minded people. And one of the things I have learned with the preparedness journey is that there are a lot of communities that pop up around the skills that you might want to learn. So again, whether we go back to that bread baking example or the knitting or the ham radio, there are clubs and organizations that are already doing all those things. And getting into those spaces allows us to build community. It's part of why I wanted to create this channel. It's part of why I wanted to create my membership site. It's because I want a place where women can go and support each other and be encouraging and talk about the things that we've learned learned, because we can learn so much from each other. And I think sometimes we forget that, right? Sometimes we feel like we're on this little island alone. And I think particularly in prepping, it can be kind of isolationist if we're not careful, because we're like, oh, we can't talk about prepping. People will think we're weird. Oh, we can't talk about prepping. That's bad OPSEC. And if you're not familiar with that word, it means operational security. We'll talk about that some a different time. But what I really want to encourage you is know, like, being in this community allows you to talk to other women who are interested in, you know, whether it is more self-sustainable living, whether it is more eco-friendly cleaning products, whether it is, hey, how do I cook food from my storage stuff and really create healthy meals for my family? You're going to find women who are interested in talking about all of those things, and that is really encouraging. Which brings me to my fifth point, which is all about mentoring and leadership. And if you're just getting started, this idea of mentoring and leading may not be what motivates you, and that's okay. But if you're a little further along, what I would say is just looking for ways to share the things that you have learned can be really motivating and really encouraging, because sometimes when we're stuck in the middle of the day-to-day and doing all the things, we get kind of bored and we get kind of stagnant, and it kind of becomes less fun. But if you can take someone else along, let's just face it, we all enjoy being the person that knows something and can help someone learn something. That is just human nature. There's not many of us out there who don't like to be the expert or the person who knows stuff. And so as you think through this preparedness journey, think about who you can mentor and who you can lead and how you can help others grow. And I think that can be a really long, sustaining thing that allows you to move forward in your journey. So those are the 5 reasons that I think you should be prepping in 2024 that have nothing to do with Israel, Ukraine, or the elections coming up. If you are still around, I would love it if you just hit subscribe, hit like, so you can stay updated on all the content that I post. And I have a second favor to ask, which is just drop a comment below. Tell me where you are on your prepping journey and what I can help you learn. I am here to help us grow together, and I am so glad you are part of the preparedness community.